Sometimes claiming what you want means stepping out of old patterns and embracing a bigger experience of life. But how do you know when it's truly your desire versus just reacting to some kind of discomfort? I had a powerful experience recently creating art in the desert, and it taught me something essential about living more fully. Let me tell you about it. So I just spent a week out in the Panamint Valley with John Wineland and the Embodied Men's leadership training. And we've been going out there for a number of years now. And we've done a very similar practice for the last couple years. And the practice was to go out into the desert. I mean, we're in the desert, but to go out into the rock fields, go out past where our tents were, and to create some art. Now, I've done this a number of times. And usually I choose kind of a humble little place, almost a hidden place. And I reflecting on it, I do it because of this ancient teaching that the burning bush in the Bible, the burning bush and Mount Sinai were chosen not because they were exalted places, but actually because they were unassuming places. Like it was just this bush, this tiny bush that burned. It wasn't some grandiose mountain. It was Mount Sinai, which wasn't all that big. And it was those places where really profound messages were revealed. And so I've always felt that if I'm going to create something in the desert, I wanted to be in a place that was humble, somewhat subtle, almost as if no one had been there. I wanted to keep it as pristine as possible for the next visitor. But this time, something different happened. And so I was building this small little piece of art, this little tower in this low spot. And I just had this feeling something wasn't right. It wasn't coming together as I really wanted it to. It didn't feel good in that moment, as if I was holding something back. And I heard a voice. I don't know how to explain it any other way. It wasn't an external voice, but I heard this message that said, "Claim what you want. Claim what you want." It was freeing. It was empowering, and I felt as a deep yes in my chest to claim what I want. And I realized that I wanted to use this other space. I wanted to use these bigger rocks. I wanted to leave something more prominent. And though I hesitated because I was aware of the impact that it would have and how it would change the landscape and how it might feel for the next person who stumbled upon it, it just hit me that I wasn't just being asked to create, I was being asked to leave something meaningful, to leave a mark, a moment that might be discovered years from now, signaling that something significant happened here. And so I took down what I had built and I chose the larger rocks and in a larger space or a little bit higher space, the ones that really felt right for that moment. And when I did, the desert was saying yes. I was being invited to live more fully, to embrace the bigger experience rather than staying small and hidden. In that moment, it made me think of how often we're hesitant or I'm hesitant to claim what I want, to claim what we want. Because sometimes we have this impulse and we think, oh, it's a deep desire. And it's actually, we just don't want to be in this place of discomfort. So there's a difference between claiming from a place of deep knowing and simply reacting from, I don't want to be uncomfortable. People I work with are trying to change their lives. I mean, that's what I do. I coach people, I teach people. They're with me because they're seeking some change in life. And it sometimes comes out as wanting a new job or a new place to live or a new structure for their marriage, maybe opening up their relationship. But sometimes they're not addressing the real need. Sometimes they're not addressing the real need. They're reacting to a dissatisfaction without pausing to ask, what do I truly want? I think the answer is a new car, a new wife, a new whatever. But what's the question I'm really asking? What's my deepest need? That's the thing to focus on. When we're feeling trapped or stagnant, our impulse might be just to break out, but that doesn't typically lead to fulfillment. In fact, it typically leads to some kind of destruction. Claiming your desire should feel like a deep bodied yes. It should resonate through. not as an escape from pain, but as just a knowing. And it's not just action. Claiming what you want sometimes also means simply speaking your truth. Sometimes the way to live a bigger life isn't by changing your circumstances, but by voicing what's true for you, saying what you need or believe, even if it's uncomfortable. That can be a powerful and bold action. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. Claiming what you want, whether with action or words, doesn't mean ignoring the impact on others. You can't just build this huge thing in the desert and not know that it's going to impact others. And that's where a lot of people stumble. They decide to make a major change without thinking about the ripples that it creates, especially in relationships. It's one thing to want more freedom or connection, but it's another to act or speak without considering how it impacts your partner or your family or your community. And that's why slowing down is essential. When I chose those bigger rocks, I wasn't just thinking about my desire to create, I was also conscious of how it would change the landscape and how it might be seen by someone who comes after me in a month, in a year, and many years from now. And so, one thing I think is important, and actually, I did not have this in the desert at that moment, but with life changes, I do. One thing I think is important is having your own board of directors, right? A coach or a therapist or a trusted group of friends who know you well, people who will help you see the things that maybe you're missing, people who reflect back to you without, ideally, without projecting their own stuff on you, helping you discern whether you're acting from truth or just acting impulsively from childhood woundings or whatever story you might be carrying. One way to live bigger, more intentional life is to slow down, honor the present. In Judaism, the tradition of saying blessings throughout the day, kind of small prayers for even mundane things like washing your hands or seeing a beautiful flower, that those are ways that we take those moments, we sanctify those moments, we make them sacred so that we don't just blow through them. It's that practice. It's that practice that gives us a bigger experience of life. It doesn't need to be a formal prayer. It can just be, wow, look at that flower. Wow, thank you for the beauty of this little child. Living fully means marking those moments, breathing them in, noticing them, allowing yourself to feel gratitude. So I have a challenge for you this week. Practice claiming what you truly want. But here's how. Here's a couple steps, 4 steps. Feel what is true. Right? Sit with your desire. Make sure it comes from a place of knowing, not just from a place of discomfort. Recognize the ripples you might create. Be conscious of how your choices impact others, especially those who are close to you and have great meaning to you. Get others to reflect. So find your personal board of directors or your coach, trusted people who can help you see your blind spots. And the fourth is claim what you want. Whether it's through action or speaking your truth, take the step with intention and awareness. Let me know in the comments below how this resonates for you. How do you navigate claiming your desires while honoring your connections? And if you're looking for more guidance on living a bigger, more intentional life, subscribe for more videos just like this. Until next time, claim what you want.